Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1981 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today's matchup is the Minnesota Twins versus the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium. On the mound for the Twins is Paul Splittorff, making his first start of the year. And pitching for the Detroit Tigers is Milt Wilcox, also making his first start for the year. And so if you watched yesterday's opening day, you see here we won 9-2. We put a ton of hits up on the board. Omar Marino had a couple doubles. Morris went 8. And Alan Trammell went 4 for 5 and won the player of the game. So a pretty good outing all around. And today we're going to try to win our second game. Let's go ahead and get started here. As always, I appreciate everyone following along. Like and subscribe. And we will be taking a look here at the Tigers, starting pitching and bullpen. Sorry, my phone was going off at the same time. I was trying to load this up, so not professional. Never claimed to be. But then my little Miami Sun Sentinel pops up. Anyway. Milt's on the mound making his first start of the year. As you can see here, our full bullpen is available. We had a couple pitchers pitch the ninth inning to wrap up the game yesterday, Stanley and Capuzzello, and that all went smoothly, surprisingly. And Paul Splittorff is a lefty, and so we put in our primarily righty lineup versus lefties. So the big changes today is we have Barry Bonnell in his first game as a Tiger since he got injured in the middle of the season last year. He is back in the lineup. Tom Brookins getting to start at third base instead of Wayne Gross. And Dave Stegman is back in center field, making his first start as a Tiger since his injury at the end of April last year. So we're pretty excited about that, having those guys back in the lineup. Let's go ahead and do the Minnesota Twins starting lineup. And the cards that you'll see up here in the corner are, in some cases, brand new created cards just for this game by Jeremy DeJong. And so we have Kurt Siebert batting leadoff and playing second base. Batting second is Dave Collins in right field. Batting third and in center field is Kirby Puckett. Batting cleanup is last year's American League MVP, and that is Danny Goodwin. Batting fifth and catching is Dave Engel. Batting sixth and at third base is John Castino. Batting seventh and DHing is Mike Hart. Batting eighth and in left field is Dave Edwards. And batting ninth and at shortstop is Edwin Rodriguez. And on the mound for the Tigers is Milt Wilcox. We'll take a quick look here. He had 28 starts last year. He missed a whole month of the season with an injury. He had a career high 13 wins, 13-5 with a 4.35 ERA. Like most of the Tigers, pitched pretty good all year, and then in September, totally fell apart. Didn't even get to 162 innings pitched. Not really a strikeout pitcher, and he doesn't walk many either. He did have one complete game last season. So here we go, first pitch. Kurt Siebert leading off for the Twins. And Siebert hits a ground ball to Thompson at first. There's one down. Next up is Dave Collins. And he gets a base hit down the right field line. And the right fielder, Hancock, holds him to a single. But we know Collins has speed. I think he had a stolen base yesterday, if I recall. Ground ball to first from Puckett. It cannot turn two. Thompson just steps on the bag. That's two down, and Collins in scoring position for Danny Goodwin, who's 0 for 3 against Wilcox from last year. We're going to take our chances. And there's an infield single by Goodwin. Collins moves up to third base. So first and third for Dave Engel. Engel did not face Wilcox last year. Oh, there's a base hit to left field. And 1 run scores. RBI single for Engel. And just like yesterday's game, the Twins take a 1-0 lead in the first. And then John Castino gets a base hit to left. So 4 hits and 2 runs as Castino gets an RBI single. And we're down 2-0. Wilcox was cruising along, and now there's 4 straight hits as Hart strikes out to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the first, and here is the Tigers lineup for today. Batting leadoff and playing second base is Sweet Lou Whitaker. Batting second and at shortstop is Alan Trammell. Batting third and playing first base is Jason Thompson. Batting cleanup and DHing is Barry Bonnell. Batting fifth and in left field is Steve Kemp. Batting sixth and catching is Lance Parrish. Batting seventh and in right field is Gary Hancock. Batting eighth and at third base is Tommy Brookins. And batting ninth in center field is Dave Stegman. On the mound for the Twins, I almost said Royals, is Paul Splittorff, because Paul Splittorff did play his whole career in real life for the Royals. He was drafted in the 25th round in the 1968 season. That was the expansion year for the Royals in 1969. So he was drafted in 68. He was the first Royal signed that made it to the major leagues. In 1971, he finished fifth in the Rookie of the Year. He was the first Royal pitcher to win 20 games. He's the Royals' all-time leader in wins, starts, and innings pitched. He retired after the 1983 season because the Royals had 3 young pitchers ready to go. That was Brett Saberhagen, Mark Gubicza, and Danny Jackson, who happens to be on the Tigers in this game in the minor leagues. He made the Royals Hall of Fame in 1987, 4 years after he retired. In 1980, just going back to the year the Royals won the World Series in real life, the Royals played the Phillies in Family Feud a week after the World Series ended, and Paul Splittorff was on the Royals team. And unfortunately, in 2011, he passed away at the age of 64 from throat cancer. So that's the background there on Splittorff, and here is Sweet Lou leading off the game for the Tigers. We're down 2-0 as Whitaker sends it into the right center field gap. And it's caught by the right fielder, Dave Collins. So 1 down. Here's Tram. Tram gets a base hit to left field, continuing his early season prowess. He's 5 for 6 now. He was caught stealing yesterday. So we're going to see if JT can't get something done here. Ground ball to third, and that should be 2 to end the inning. It is. So Thompson and Hancock were both terrible as lefties versus lefties last year. But, you know, it's early in the season. We want to give them a chance to get off to a good start against lefties as Wilcox strikes out Dave Edwards. Here's the number 9 hitter, Edwin Rodriguez. Hits a line drive right at Thompson. There's 2 down. Next up is Kurt Siebert. And Siebert hits a ground ball to Trammell. That ends the inning. We go to the bottom of the second. 2-0. Barry Bonnell, as he pops it up on the infield. We'll take a look at Barry Bonnell a little bit closer in his next at bat as Steve Kemp comes to the plate with 1 down, and he flips it into left center field. That should get down. It does as a base hit. And Kemp holds at first base. So here's the other double play. The guy who's in double plays a lot. as he does right here to end the inning. So we go to the top of the third, and it's 2-0. As I need to get my thesaurus out, as Wilcox makes a big mistake there, walking Dave Collins to start the top of the third. So one runner on first, and Collins does steal second base. That should be his second steal, right? Yeah. So he's 2 out of 3 so far this season. So runner in scoring position for Kirby Puckett. Puckett hits a ground ball that gets past Whitaker, and Collins scores easily from third. 5 hits now against Wilcox, who really was arguably our best pitcher last year. And then Danny Goodwin deposits it into the right field bleachers. It's 5-0. And as well as things were going yesterday is as bad as we're off to today. Dave Engel gets a base hit into center field. And this might be a very short start for Wilcox, as Castino drops it into left center field, little duck snort, and that's going to be it. As that was incredibly disappointing. We're going to pull Wilcox out. We're going to bring in Schatzeder, who was excellent last year. We'll take a look here real quick at Schatzy. He did make 5 starts for us last year and pitched over 100 innings, mostly in relief. So we know he can go at least 2 or 3 innings for us if we need it. He got 1 save and 5 blown saves, which sounds bad, but he actually pitched pretty well. And he's going to face Mike Hart here first as he strikes out Hart. That's 1 down. Runners on first and second with Dave Edwards up, and he strikes out Edwards. So consecutive Ks for Schatzy, bringing up the rookie Edwin Rodriguez, and Rodriguez gets a base hit the other way. Engel has to hold. He is a catcher after all. And we're going to turn Kurt Siebert around. As you can see, he batted .154 against the lefties last year. And Schatzy gets Siebert to pop it up on the infield, and that will get us out of the inning. But the damage is done, as the Tigers are down 5-0. So here's Gary Hancock. He had a .200 batting average versus lefties last year. He did manage to get 1 long ball, but I believe he went 0 for his first 40 or something like that. It's very Chris Davis-like as he pops out into foul ground on the third base side. Next up is Tommy Brookins. And Brookins walks. He had 2 home runs on opening day last year, and then I believe he finished up with 8 overall. Got great speed. We're not going to steal. We're going to let Stegman swing away. We are down 5 runs here. And Splittorff walks Stegman. So you walk the 8 and 9 hitters to get to the top of the lineup for Sweet Lou. Lou, a lefty batting against lefty. Batted .258 last year. He pops it up on the infield. And that will leave it up to Trammell, who so far has been unstoppable. And he hits a ground ball right to Rodriguez at short, and he boots it. Rodriguez helping us out, maybe getting us closer to being back in the game. Bases loaded now for JT, who's 0 for 5 with 2 Ks against Splittorff between last year and this year. Oh, and a ground ball right back to Rodriguez. And he fields it cleanly this time. We go to the top of the 4th with Dave Collins leading off. Collins strikes out. It's 3 Ks for Schatzeder. Next up, Kirby Puckett. Puckett not having any of that. Gets a base at the left. 2 hits now given up by Schatzy, but he does seem to be mostly in control. As Goodwin hits a ground ball to second. And they turn 2 to get out of the 4th inning. We go to the bottom of the 4th. And here's Barry Bonnell. Just do a little quick recap. We got Bunnell before the All-Star break because Stegman had gotten injured. And so Barry Bunnell was going to be our center fielder for the rest of the year, and then he got injured for the year. So that is why we turned to Omar Marino, and then later Tony Armas, who we picked up right at the trade deadline, and then we stuck him in the minor leagues, Tony Armas, until we needed him for the September run. So Bunnell flies out to center field. That's one down. Next up is Kemp. Kemp 3 for 3 with 2 walks coming into this plate appearance. And he flies out to left. So 2 down. Next up is Lance Parrish, and he strikes out swinging. So we are not looking so hot today. We're going to try to stretch out Schatzy for one more inning. And he strikes out Dave Engel. 4 Ks for Schatzeder. Next up is John Castino, base hit to left. 11 hits now for the Twinkies. So that will bring up Mike Hart, made his major league debut yesterday as Hart hits a fly ball to right field. There's 2 down. And finally, Dave Edwards batted .353 versus lefties last year. And he hit a homer off Schatzy. And there's a base hit the opposite field. Castino takes third, and it's first and third for the number 9 hitter. This might be the last batter for Schatzy. And Rodriguez flies out to left center field. So Schatzy keeps them off the board. We go to the bottom of the 5th, down by 5. Here's Gary Hancock. Hancock shoots it to left on a line, caught by the left fielder Edwards. Next up is Tommy B. Brookins hits a line drive right at the third baseman, Castino. There's 2 down. And finally, Dave Stegman, ground ball right to Rodriguez. And a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the top of the 6th. Great job by Schatzeder. If we flip over to the in-game stats so you can see what is going on. Castino 3 for 3 for the Twinkies. Player of the game for the Tigers so far might be Schatzeder. So we're going to take out Schatzeder, and we are going to bring in Dave Tobick. Dave Tobick, not great. He did finish with an ERA over 4. We really worked him out last year, pitching 64 innings, going 4-4, 2 saves, 3 blown saves. Opponents batted .277 against him. His first appearance in 1980, he got blowed up and really spent the rest of the season trying to get that ERA down. As Siebert hits a ground ball right to Tram. There's 1 down. Next up, Dave Collins. Collins base hit to right. 2 for 3 on the day. So 1 down, Collins on first. He's got a stolen base today. And Kirby Puckett 3 for 4 now. Collins holds at second. And the ever dangerous Danny Goodwin's up. He had a home run in his last at bat. And he hits a line drive right at Brookins. And they double off Collins on second base. So a double play there. And we go to the 6th. Splittorff is in control, only at 66 pitches. Whitaker sends a lazy fly ball to left. There's 1 down. Next up is Tram. Tram pops it up on the infield. There is nothing going on today. So with 2 down, here's JT. And JT takes third strike, looking on the inside, the inside corner. And we go to the 7th. We're going to let Tobick go again. He seemed to have it, together, but he walks the number 5 hitter. We're going to guard the lines. try to prevent an extra base hit down the line, as John Castino gets a base hit, infield hit, and that'll be it for Tobic. So he's got a couple runners on base that he's responsible for. Going to bring in Pat Underwood to face the lefty Mike Hart. And he's going to bloop it into left center field for a hit. Oh, it's going to be caught by Kemp. I did not expect that. That's a lucky break for Detroit. As Edwards is up, we're going to bring the outfield in. Try to prevent anything from falling in this time. As it's going to fall in anyway for a hit. Engel has to hold because we were playing in. And we are going to bring the infield in against Rodriguez. I want to keep Underwood in there because we have a couple switch hitters coming up regardless. And there it is, a ground ball right to short. They go home, and that is 2 down. So we're on the verge of getting out of this inning with Kurt Siebert up, back to the top of the lineup, and Underwood walks Siebert with the bases loaded, and it's 6-0. Dave Collins is up next, and on a 3-2 count of his own, he drops it into left center field. This game is, for all intents and purposes, over. So Underwood, very, very terrible. We're going to bring in the closer here in the 7th, get him some work. It's Andy Replogle. Pull him up, take a look at him. He was actually really great as a September call-up. Got into 15 games, 3.38 ERA. He had 17 Ks in 18 and 2/3 innings. So he's filling the closer role in place of Aurelio Lopez, who was just horrible, like almost every other time he came to the mound. He had more walks than strikeouts, so we had to let him go into free agency. So the inning ends, damage is done. It is 8-0. And we used to hit lefties so good last year, and I guess we're just going to get blanked here by Splittorff as we're down by 8 here in the 7th. Kemp hits a ground ball to short. And I'm guessing the Royals wish they would have re-signed Paul Splittorff. As Parrish hits it deep into right center field. It is gone. Parrish gets the first home run for the Tigers of the season and gets us on the board. There goes the shutout for Splittorff. Parrish did not hit very many home runs last year, only 14. And he played in 138 games, so I'm hoping to get at least 20 home runs out of him this year. And Gary Hancock gets his first hit of the year. So back-to-back hits for Detroit. Is it too little, too late, though? Brookins thinks it is, as he strikes out swinging. We go to the top of the 8th, down by 7. We're going to let Replogle pitch another inning here. Oh, that's the second dong for Goodwin. So that's on me. But somebody's got to pitch. As Engel hits a ground ball to short. So yeah, Danny Goodwin was the MVP last year for the 4th place Twins, I believe. As Castino strikes out. First K for Replogle. And Mike Hart's going to pop it up to Bunnell in center. And that's the 3rd out. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Tigers down by 8. And Dave Stegman, there we go, gets off the Schneid early. Base hit. I mean, we're down by 8. Why not give Stegman a double? He's out at second base. So Dave Edwards guns down Dave Stegman. There's the first out. Trammell hits a ground ball to short. And there's 2 down for Trammell now here in the bottom of the 8th. Trammell shoots it to right. It's going to be caught by Collins, and that is the 3rd out. We're going to the 9th inning. Replogle went 1 1/3, so we're going to bring in, I guess we're going to bring in Stanley, who pitched in yesterday's opener. I don't think I showed his stats. He made 4 starts. He was the first starting pitcher to fill in for Milt Wilcox after he got injured. Not so good. He finished with an ERA under 6, and that seems like pretty decent considering where he was. As you can see, he had more walks than strikeouts. Opponents batted .318 against him, so not great. As he faces Dave Edwards to lead off the 9th. Ground ball to short. There's 1 down. Next up, Edwin Gonzalez. Ground ball to 3rd. There's 2 outs. And Kurt Siebert comes up for the 5th time today, and he hits a ground ball to Whitaker at 2nd to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th, and the Twins are bringing in Vern Rule. I have a little bit of a history with Vern Rule. As you can see, he played for Detroit. And so Vern Rule's niece went to middle school with me. And then she moved actually to Houston, I believe, in what would that have been, 84, 85. So I'm just saying, not anything major. As you can see, Rule did make 3 starts for the Twins last year, and 15 Ks in 31 innings pitched. So not too shabby, really. Thompson hits a line drive to Goodwin at first. There's 1 down. Down to our final 2 outs. Barry Bonnell 0 for 3 today. Hits a ground ball to Rodriguez. There's 2 down. And here's Steve Kemp. And that's going to be an easy ground ball to first. And we lose 9-1. Never in that game, unfortunately, as Wilcox got off to such a terrible start. And we could just never recover as we're waiting for the game to load. So there we go. 9-2, then back to 9-1. Take a look at the transactions real quick. Nothing new. We mentioned yesterday that Sutcliffe got that contract. Take a look at the standings. I'm sure some of you are curious this early on. Baltimore and Boston and Toronto, 2-0 in the East, and California and Oaktown, 2-0 in the West. Chicago, St. Louis, 2-0. Cincinnati, San Diego, 2-0. All right, we're going to pull up the box score. We will get out of here, and we'll come back tomorrow, hopefully a little bit better than we did today. As always, I appreciate everyone following along. Like and subscribe. Who, as I hit that twice apparently, who do we give the player of the game to? I think we're going to give it to Schatzeder, who went 3 scoreless innings, striking out 4. And as I mentioned in yesterday's game, I'm going to keep track of the game MVPs for the Tiger, and we'll come up with a season MVP after we tally it all up. All right? So Schatzy gets it today. Wilcox takes the loss, 0 for 1. And Paul Splittorff gets the win for the Twinkies. His first win as a Twin. He's 1-0. And Danny Goodwin had 2 long home runs to center field as the Twins win 9-1. We'll be back tomorrow with Game 3 in the series. Until then, everyone, have a great night.